Welcome back to JForrest English. I'm Jennifer, and today you're going to learn the 10 phrasal verbs that you must know to understand native speakers and to sound fluent, natural, and advanced in English. At the end, I'm going to quiz you to make sure you really know these must-know phrasal verbs. Let's get started. To run out of something. This is when you use all of something and therefore have none left. We commonly use this with food items. For example, milk. We ran out of milk. This means you have no milk left because you used it all. Now notice ran, that's the past simple of the verb run. The conjugations are run, ran, run. You could also say we've run out of milk in the present perfect because it's a past action with a connection to the present. In a business context, you might say we're running out of time. So here, notice in the present continuous, we're running out of, and then the something is time. It means you're in the process of having no time left. So if the meeting ends at 11 o'clock and right now it's 10:50, you can say, we're running out of time. We need to end the meeting in 10 minutes. You can also use this with ideas, we're running out of ideas, or patience, I'm running out of patience, which means I'm in the process of having no patience left. To bring up, this means to raise a topic for conversation or to raise a child. For example, he brought up an interesting point at the meeting, which means he raised an interesting point. He shared an interesting point. He brought up an interesting point at the meeting. Here, brought is the past simple of bring. Now remember, this also means to raise a child. When you raise a child, it means you care for and nurture a child from the time that child is an infant until that child is an adult. That is to raise a child. For example, she's bringing up 3 children on her own. So this means she's raising 3 children on her own. To look after someone or something. This means to care for someone or something for a period of time. So generally we don't use this if you're caring for someone or something permanently, like when you bring up a child, you're caring for that child permanently. But if you're looking after a child, it sounds like you're doing it temporarily for a period of time. For example, my son's 16, so he looks after his younger brothers while I'm at work. So my son, who is 16, cares for his younger brothers, but he's not bringing them up because he's not doing that permanently. He's caring for them for a period of time, the time while I'm at work. So maybe 2 hours a day between after school and when I get home from work. My oldest child, who's 16, cares for my younger children, his younger brothers. We also use this with things, to care for things. For example, can you look after my plants while I'm on vacation? If someone asks you to look after something for a period of time while they're on vacation or while they're traveling, they're asking you to care for it. So that's a lot of responsibility for you. You better not kill my plants. To take off. This means to remove something commonly from your body, or to leave. In the sense of removing something from your body, when someone comes to your house, you might say, please take off your shoes before coming in. So you want to keep your floors nice and clean, so you ask them to take off their shoes, to remove their shoes. Now, in the sense of to leave, we commonly use this with flights. For example, my flight was supposed to take off at noon, but it was delayed. So if my flight's delayed, it means it's now taking off later than scheduled, later than expected. And when your flight takes off, that's when your flight leaves. It leaves the ground, it leaves the airport. So you can use this one every single time you're traveling and daily to talk about removing something from your body. To turn on. I'm sure you know this one, but just to make sure, this means to activate a device, to turn on a device. This is something that I ask Siri to do daily, and you might ask Siri or Alexa or whoever your personal assistant is, hey Siri, turn on the lights. Or you might say, can you turn on the air conditioning? It's really hot in here. So think of all the different devices you have in your home, in your office, and even on you everywhere you go, and you can use turn on to mean activate. And if turn on means to activate, well then what's the opposite? What's the phrasal verb for to deactivate a device? Of course, it's turn off. Turn off a device, deactivate a device. Again, something you can ask your personal assistant to do. Hey Siri, turn off the music. And this is also something that parents have to remind their children to do quite frequently. For example, make sure you turn off the lights before you leave. Get up. This is one you can, of course, use every single day because when you get up, it means you wake up in the morning. For example, I get up at 5:50 a.m. every day except Sundays. On Sundays, I get up at 7 a.m. So I sleep in on Sundays and oh, I enjoy that. What about you? What time do you get up? Share that in the comments. We also use get up to mean to rise from a lying or sitting position. So let's say you work in an office that has some really comfortable couches, and you might just be relaxing and lying on the couch. But then your coworker says, quick, get up, Rob's coming. And Rob is your boss. And you don't want your boss to see you just lying on this couch when you should be at your desk working, right? So in this context, it doesn't mean that you were sleeping on the couch. It simply means you were in a lying or even a sitting position. So we talked about how take off is used to remove something from your body. So if you're hot, you can take off your sweater. But what if you're cold? What's the phrasal verb to add something to your body? Do you know? It's to put on. To put on is to wear clothing or accessories, so you can think of them as adding them to your body. To put on also means to apply something like makeup or sunscreen, to put on. For example, you could say to a friend, it's chilly out. You should put on a sweater. Chilly means a little cold. So maybe your friend is going out in a t-shirt, but you say it's chilly out. You should put on a sweater. To give up. Hopefully a phrasal verb that isn't in your vocabulary, to give up. Because this is used when you stop trying to do something. For example, don't give up just because you made a few mistakes. That's part of the learning process. I'm sure some days you feel like giving up learning English, which would mean stop learning English, but don't give up. However, there are some things you should give up, like a bad habit. And give up is also used when you stop a bad habit. For example, you should give up smoking, which means you should stop smoking, permanently stop smoking, so you should quit smoking. You should give up smoking. Permanently stop smoking, quit smoking. But you shouldn't give up learning English just because you make a mistake or just because it's taking a little longer than you expected. Don't give up. To look for. When you look for someone or something, you simply try to find, to locate someone or something. For example, I looked for you at the conference, but it was busy. This means I tried to find someone, a friend, a coworker, someone I know. I tried to find someone at a conference. I looked for her or him, but I didn't find that person because there were too many people at the conference. The conference was busy. Of course, we use this with everyday objects like our keys, our phone, our purse, even something simple like a pen. Can you help me look for my keys? This is another way of saying, can you help me find my keys? Can you help me locate my keys? Because I don't know where they are. Can you help me look for my keys? So these are the 10 phrasal verbs that you absolutely must know to understand native speakers and to sound fluent and natural and advanced in English. They were pretty simple, right? Most likely you knew most of them. But let's see how well you know them with a quiz. Here are the questions. Hit pause, take as much time as you need, and when you're ready, hit play to see the answers. So how did you do with that quiz? Let's find out. Here are the answers. Review them as long as you need, and when you're ready, hit play to continue. So, how did you do with that quiz? Did you get 10 out of 10? Well, if you got 0 out of 10, don't give up. You just need some more practice and repetition and a little patience. So share your score in the comments and leave some example sentences with your new vocabulary right in the comments. And you can get this free speaking guide where I share 6 tips on how to speak English fluently and confidently. You can click here to download it or look for the link in the description. And why don't you keep learning with this lesson right now?